Hello, welcome back to my channel Samvedna Psyche. Today I am here with another helpful resource for all of you MAPC July 2023 and January 2024 batches. A solved assignment for Advanced Social Psychology MPC-004. I hope you find it valuable as you continue your studies. Without further ado, let's jump right into the solution. Let me remind you of including the title page and the question paper before you start writing your solutions. Before writing any answer, mention the subject along with subject code, tutor marked assignment, course code, and assignment code. And while writing the answer, leave a left margin of 3 to 4 centimeters and space of 3 to 5 lines after every answer. And do include the diagrams wherever necessary. Question 1. Discuss the nature and concept of social psychology. Here we'll discuss two things. First the nature and then the concept, and both we'll study point-wise. So first of all, the nature. It's scientific in approach. It has interdisciplinary roots. It focuses on individuals in different social contexts. It studies the influence of society or social influence on the individual. It analyzes social perception and cognition. And finally, it helps in exploration of group behavior. Then we move on to concepts, again in points. First, understanding human behavior in social context, explaining social phenomena, applications in practical settings, integration of individual and social factors, and contribution to knowledge and understanding. And with this, you'll conclude your answer. After every answer, leave space of 3 to 5 lines. Question 2. Discuss the development and maintenance of prejudices and discrimination. First define what these two are and then come to the factors which result in the development of prejudice and discrimination. Starting with the first one, status and power structure. Next one, the historical facts. Situational factors. Situational factors I have subdivided into various sub-factors, basically 4 sub-factors. Social learning, job competition, conformity to norms, and interaction patterns. Next factor is psychodynamic factor, which is again subdivided into various sub-factors. First, frustration and aggression. Next, authoritarian personality. And the last, personality needs. And with this, you will conclude your answer. Next, question 3. Define group dynamics. Explain the meaning, concept, and importance of group dynamics. So first we'll discuss the definition, which is to the point and brief. Then we move on to the meaning. Here we elaborate, explaining it, what it includes, and what it focuses on. Next one is concept of group dynamics. It is based on various principles, which I have discussed in points. First is interdependence, formation of group structure, leadership dynamics, communication patterns, conflict resolution strategies, group cohesion, decision-making process, and then we move on to the importance. What are the reasons why it is important? So first point, effective collaboration. Next, enhanced decision-making, organizational culture, conflict resolution, innovation and creativity, social cohesion, and individual development. Section A is completed. Let's move on to section B. Question 4. Discuss the interdisciplinary versus intradisciplinary approaches to social psychology. Here, first we'll discuss the interdisciplinary approach, how it along with other branches or other fields, how it helps in embracing diversity. Like the first one, sociology and social psychology, how together they are helping in bridging the gap. Anthropology with social psychology, how it is helpful in understanding cultural context, and how sociolinguistic along with social psychology helps in exploring the role of language in shaping social dynamics and individual behavior. Next, intradisciplinary approach, which focuses purely on psychology. That you'll discuss what is there in psychology, that is cognition, emotion, motivation within the social context. Then we'll talk about how the intra and interdisciplinary divide is there, and in the last point, how it can be integrated and how these two can collaborate together. Question 5. Explain about impression formation with the concept of schema and prototypes. First of all, we'll talk about impression formation that I have done in the first para. Then we'll talk about schema in detail, what it serves as, and in the context of impression formation, what is the role of schema. Next, prototypes. Again, after telling what is prototype, then we have to discuss its role in impression formation. And lastly, how integration of schemas and prototypes, they are helpful in impression formation. And then you'll conclude your answer. Question 6. Explain BEM's self-perception theory. In the first para, a brief introduction. It was proposed by Daryl Bem in 1972, and it postulates that people infer their internal states by observing their own behavior and circumstances in which these behavior occur. And then there are two claims of this theory. First is how the individuals, they develop their knowledge about the internal states by observing their own behavior. And second, when there are no internal cues or cues, the internal state is ambiguous, then they rely on the external cues like the behavioral or situational context. In the next para, we have discussed the distinction between the self-perception theory and the cognitive dissonance theory. And lastly, what the self-perception theory proposes, and then we'll conclude our answer. Question 7. Discuss about conformity, compliance, and obedience as the areas of social influences. We'll discuss these three, one after the other. First of all, conformity, which is the tendency of individuals to adjust their attitudes, beliefs, or behaviors to a larger group of which they are part of or they want to belong to. Then we'll talk about compliance, where individual adjust their behavior in response to a request, which can be direct or indirect from a person or a group. And the third one, obedience. Obedience occurs in hierarchical structures or where an authority figure is there having legitimate power or expertise who can give the instructions to be followed. And then how these three or the social environment shapes the individual, and with that you'll conclude your answer. Question 8. Explain the characteristics of a group. There are various characteristics. I have mentioned them in points with headings. First is sense of we feeling. In a group, the people have that group feeling or collective feeling, which we call as we feeling. They share their common interest. Feeling of unity is there. Interrelatedness. Individuals are affected by group characteristics. They share common values. And there are various norms, customs, and procedures which have control over the individual members of the group, obligations and expectations. And then the answer will be concluded. Section B is done. Let's move on to section C. Section C, question number 9, scope of social psychology. This deals with the interplay between individuals and groups and studying how social influence they affect the person's thought, emotions and actions. So briefly write about that. Question 10, cognitive algebra. It explores how impressions are formed using the additive and averaging model, and then just in one sentence each, explain these two models. Question 11, fundamental attribution errors. This is the tendency to attribute someone else's behavior to the internal characteristics and our own behavior to situational factors. You have to discuss about this briefly. Question 12, empathetic-joy hypothesis. This postulates that the one who's helping or the helpers, they experience empathetic concern towards the person who needs the help. And after helping, the helper experience happiness, joy and all. So that you have to mention here. Question 13, attitude and beliefs. Here you have to tell what is attitude and what are beliefs. Next, nature of social conflict. Here you have to tell the reasons or factors responsible for social conflict. Question 15, group structure. What it includes that you have to mention. Question 16, active crowd. Here mention the different types of active crowd very briefly. Question 17, social contact. Here you have to mention the positive as well as the negative outcomes of social contact. And lastly, effects of conflict. Again, the positive or negative effects of conflict you have to mention here. With this, we have completed our assignment for MPC-004. Thank you all for watching. I hope you found this solved assignment helpful for your studies. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. I would love to hear your thoughts and suggestions for future videos. So please leave them in the comments below. Stay tuned for more valuable content. Until next time, take care and happy learning. Thank you.